Hi, I'm Christopher Whitlatch, Manager of Marketing and Communications here at the Pittsburgh Foundation. As part of the 2010 Day of Giving on Pittsburgh Give, we've been offering workshops on how you can use social media to promote individual giving and reach new people. This is the first in a series of webinars that came out of those workshops. Social Media, a Foundation for Nonprofits. So what is social media? Well, what you're looking at on the screen here is sort of all the most popular sites for social media, but what we consider social media is an internet-based application used to create, store, organize, publish, syndicate, critique, and share, which is probably the most important thing, any and all forms of text, pictures, video, and audio content. So, how does it differ from some of the traditional marketing that you might be doing now? Television, radio, print, billboards, we consider that traditional marketing, and that was one message that went out to a mass audience. And we call that interruption marketing. So when you're watching your favorite TV program and a commercial comes on, you've been interrupted. Social media differs from this, as it's multiple messages to one engaged person that has opted in and they actually agreed to receive your messages, your content. And then they can turn around and share that with others. And we call this inbound marketing. Now, somewhere in between is email, because they actually agreed to receive your email typically, but you're still interrupting something that they're doing. So it's kind of the bridge between the interruption and inbound marketing concepts. Now, some of the key social media platforms that are out there, there's blogging, there's photo sharing like Flickr, there's video sharing, which would be YouTube, there's microblogging, which is Twitter, podcasts, RSS feeds, message boards, chat rooms, social networking, widgets. That's all part of what social media is. But what is most of concern to us is how we use social media to get impact. And the number one way is to build a community. And a lot of you already have a community. You have in your database probably a large group of people that you communicate with via email, maybe via direct mail. Well, these members of your community probably are already out there on Facebook, Twitter, or some other social network. And what social media will do for you is actually take that community and put it to work for you in ways that email and direct mail can't do. It will also allow you to reach new people. And some of that may be from your own community actually rebroadcasting your messages to their networks. And that's how you build upon your community, by reaching new people. What we kind of want to accomplish is to drive traffic. And that could be as simple as driving traffic to your website, and maybe driving traffic to a fundraising campaign, driving traffic to a video. Or it is basically asking them to take some sort of action. So we're driving them to actually do something we want them to do. One key that usually people miss when it comes to social media is listening. Twitter, Facebook, and all the other social media tools are very good broadcast tools, and that's typically how people use them. And they talk and talk and talk, but they fail to listen. And what you want to do is actually listen to your community and listen to a wider community so that you can see what's going on, and that will allow you to join and participate. Social media is actually very good for monitoring what is actually going on out there, and you can use some of the tools that we'll show you in some of the other webinars to actually make monitoring of social media a little bit easier, like using TweetDeck. And the last thing that we use for impact is engaging in real-time communications. You can actually use these tools to talk one-to-one with your audience, and they can turn around and then talk one-to-one with other people. So it's one-to-one-to-one communications. And that has not really been a tool that you could use with any other marketing material that you might send out. And that real-time communications is very, very effective. And we'll talk about that on this next screen. I don't know where you are in your social media process, but if you need to make the case for a supervisor for your organization, here's a few things that you can throw out there. This may be the biggest one overall. Social media has actually overtaken porn as the number one activity on the web. By 2010, Generation Y will have outnumbered baby boomers, and 96% of them belong to some sort of social network. If Facebook were a country, if you put all of the members of Facebook into one country, it'd be the fourth largest in the world. The fastest growing segment on Facebook is actually 55 to 65. This is kind of important to the Pittsburgh Foundation because a lot of our donors are older, so that we're looking at possibly connecting them through social media, since that is a segment that is growing. There's been 1 billion iPod app downloads in the last 9 months. 78%, and this goes back to the last screen, 78% of people trust peer-to-peer recommendations. Only 14% trust advertising. So when you actually talk to a person and give them a message and they pass along that message to another person, 78% of the time it's likely to be trusted. People will actually engage with you. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. So if you look at search engine optimization for your website, YouTube is the second largest search engine. So you want to make sure that you're using that search engine. It also happens to be owned by the largest search engine, which is Google. So what we want to do is figure out how we can use social media to promote individual giving. A lot of your traditional fundraising sources may have come under pressure with the recent recession. If you get money from the state, well, state budgets have been cut, so you're likely getting less money. Same thing with local governments, because a lot of their funding comes from the state. And possibly your foundation partners have cut back funding for your programs as well, because they have less money to give. Social media can help you reach individual givers. And individual givers might make up some of the gap from your traditional fundraising partners. However, I hate to tell you, there's just no magic button with social media. Just because you throw up a Facebook fan page does not mean that the fundraising dollars are going to start to roll in. In fact, the most successful campaigns in fundraising and social media are typically in response to a crisis. The American Red Cross raised over $20 million in the weeks following the Haiti earthquake directly through social media, mainly through their Facebook causes page, but also through their text messaging campaign. However, you just can't go out and create a crisis to help you on October 13th with Day of Giving, or for that matter, any other day of the year. So what we want to be able to do with social media is to tell our story effectively. Now, your organization probably has very good stories to tell, the people that you impact, how you make an impact in the community, your volunteers, your staff, all of those make very, very good stories. And social media is an excellent storytelling platform. In fact, you'll see this in a lot of the other webinars in this series. It's a common theme, is how to use these to tell stories effectively. And part of where we want you to tell those stories is actually to reach new people. So you're telling your story of how you're impacting the community to new people within that community who may want to give you money. So really, fundraising on social media is indirect. It's kind of like branding. The better you tell your story, the more people that will be interested in it, and those people will respond to your story by possibly becoming engaged with your organization, which could include them writing a check or giving a credit card donation online on October 13th. What we also like to talk about is the power of many. And social media really demonstrates this like no other. And Twitter is a good example. You could have just 10 followers on Twitter, and if those 10 followers are engaged with you and committed to rebroadcasting your message, when you send that message out, if they have 10 followers and they broadcast it to their 10 followers, well, you do the math. You reach 1,000 people with one click. That's the power of many. And just about every social media tool has that power, that sharing power. Pittsburgh Gives is kind of a little like this as well. There are 400 plus organizations on Pittsburgh Gives, and on Day of Giving, they're all going to be driving traffic to the site before and during that particular event. Now you might say, yeah, they're driving people to give to them. Yes, that's true. But because they're driving people to Pittsburgh Gives, those people are more likely to see your message and your organization as well. And the same thing with the people you drive to the site. So in working with this 400 community, you're actually helping each other. So how do we go about selecting a social media platform? Well, we really want to ask our audience, and basically, the most engaged people with your organization will probably tell you where they want to be communicated with within social media. You don't have to use all of the social media platforms that we're going to show you. One may be more effective, more so than another, and one may be not effective at all, and you just don't need it. And your audience will guide you and tell you how they want to engage with you, so ask them. Try, look, and listen with each social media platform you might want to use. So try it out, look around, and listen to what's actually already going on that platform, and then you'll be better prepared on how to actually use that in a marketing message format. Don't be scared to test the waters. A lot of people dip their toe in the water of social media. You'll make some mistakes. There have been a lot of mistakes before you. There'll be a lot of mistakes after you. None of these mistakes are really going to seriously affect your organization or anything like that. And you'll start to get a feel for what works and what doesn't. And that's part of what social media is, because it changes every day anyways. So you're all constantly testing and trying new things anyways. So you have to kind of embrace that spirit. And as I said, you don't have to be everywhere, so you don't have to be on Facebook or Twitter or YouTube or MySpace or Flickr. If Facebook works the best for you, then concentrate your efforts on Facebook. If Twitter is more effective, then concentrate your efforts on Twitter. All of these tools do plug in very well with each other. If you have a blog and you're blogging on a regular basis, you can have very good success promoting that blog on Twitter by just providing a URL. So look at ways to actually integrate what you're doing with other things that you're doing as well. So what's the investment with social media? Well, what kind of investment do I have to make to get a return? Well, most sites are free. There's really no cost to sign up and participate. You can pay for some products like advertising on Facebook, but it's really not necessary in most cases. And so most sites are free. So there's not really a check that you have to write. But what you have to write as far as your resources is time. It does take time. You have to put time into these tools to get success out of these tools. Really, what you put in is what you get out. We recommend about an hour a day. It typically takes an hour a day to monitor the social media sites, respond to what you need to do, and put your messages out there and check, how many times those messages have been broadcast and what kind of engagement you're getting. That 1 hour is not typically, 8 to 9 a.m. I'm doing social media. Typically that hour is spread out over the day. So it may be 5 minutes here, 15 minutes there, 20 minutes at the end of the day kind of thing. There are external resources available to your organization if you just cannot find the time. If you want to make a cash investment, there are consultants out there that can assist you. That could be a very successful route to go. Interns are usually very good at getting you started as well in social media, because they typically know how to use Facebook, and a lot of them know how to use Twitter and video as well. However, you have to make sure that you have a sort of succession plan, because when your interns go, you want to make sure that your social media does not drop off. And that's our sort of introduction to social media. We have a few other webinars that you can watch. We hope this was helpful for you, and that you'll take a look at our webinars on Facebook, Twitter, and video as well. If you have any questions, I can always be reached at whitlatchc, that's WHITLATCHC @pghfdn.org. Good luck.